What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how wide receivers should watch film. So we're going to be talking about the specific details of what to look for in your opponent, what to look for when maybe you're watching a receiver who's at a higher level than you and you're trying to learn from their game, and just all the above, everything that wide receivers can learn from film. So I hope this video gives you guys some value, but also if you guys are a wide receiver and you want to get stronger, bigger, faster, more explosive, become a smoother route runner, and you want specific exercises to do that, check out that very first link in the description for a 28-day wide receiver gym workout program. So it's 28 days specific on-field conditioning exercises and exercises in the gym to make you a better wide receiver overall, specifically tailored to fit wide receivers. So I hope we get you guys on that soon. Let's get started. So we're going to look at this route here from AB, but mainly we're going to be talking about this DB. How can you guys approach going up against a DB when you're watching him on film, right? Because if you have film of your opponent, that's the best way to learn. That's the best way to structure what you got. So let's watch this route by AB right here. See how he gives this split release, bursts up to the outside, then catches this fade over the top. So the main thing we're going to be focusing on here is just how we can read a DB based off of film, right? So if I'm watching film on a guy, as a receiver, you should have many different tools in your arsenal, right? If you're a receiver and you go to a coach and he puts you through all these obstacle course drills, and yeah, you get a good sweat, you get a good workout, your legs feel heavy, but you don't come away with any IQ from the session, like you don't know when the hell you're going to use that stuff, you should probably go to a different coach, because you guys need to be able to understand when to use these specific releases, when to use these specific moves, and when to actually apply them in a game situation. So when I come up here and I know, all right, I got 10 different releases that I maybe am really good at, right? Let's say I got a split release, slide release, wide step, double tap. I got all the above, right? Let's say I got 10 of those things, right? So now let's say I got to run a fade route. Now on a fade route, especially if it's quick game, especially if we're down close by the end zone, like 20-yard line, usually I'm a first read. A quarterback's not going to go from right to left all the way back across the field and hit a fade, right? So I got to think of something quick. So I got those quick releases already engraved into my head. I got like a list of 5 of those and they all build off, right? So I know what I'm supposed to do. So now I see that this DB, he's head up, but I got about a yard of cushion. It doesn't like he's going to get real physical. He's going to watch my hips. He's going to try to mirror me. So I'm probably not going to go with all these fancy things. I'm just going to give him something quick, try to freeze him and stop his feet, and then leave him, right? So I understand that he's probably not going to lunge at me and get hands. Now, we can tell by this DB that maybe he could lunge and get hands. Maybe he could just straight backpedal out of there, maybe give me a little bit more cushion. So what I decided to go with here, we see what Antonio Brown decides to go with, is this split release. He's getting a read on this DB. He's watching how he's going to play him, and he just sits to the inside right here. He sits head up, doesn't shoot his hands, watching those hips, so that's fine. I want to freeze him. I come to a balanced position, because if he does decide to shoot hands, what AB can do is just swat those hands. He's in an explosive balanced position to where he's not going to get knocked off this route. If you guys split and your feet are super close together here, what he's going to do is he's going to shoot hands, and you're not going to have any balance whatsoever because your feet are super close together. You get in a good explosive position where he could either push outside off of this leg or he could push inside out of off his left leg. So that's how you read a DB when you're watching him on film. You understand, okay, does he like to play inside shade? Does he like to play head up? Maybe if he's inside shade right here and he's like to play a heavy inside shade, maybe I hit him with an out-in release, something to freeze him and then get upfield. But when you're a first read receiver, you know, okay, if he comes at me like this, I could do this, this, or this. And if he plays me at this leverage, I'm going to do this. If he plays me head up, I could do this. And then a lot of times it's about reacting though, right? So that's how you kind of can watch film on a DB and understand how to structure that to your own game when it comes to releases off the line of scrimmage. Let's watch this thing again, full speed one more time. So he splits, pushes up vertical, and just continue to push and widen that distance with the DB and make this play over the top. Great route. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what to look for with a receiver that you're watching when you're trying to learn about route running, right? So that's kind of what we pride our channel on, especially for wide receivers. We talk a lot about just specific details and techniques, right? And this is kind of what I would look for, you know what I mean? If I was in a position where maybe I was trying to get better, I was watching a lot of film of guys like, you know, Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, Julio Jones, some of the best route runners in the league, like Calvin Ridley, another one. What are those specific little things that they do? And we're going to point out one of those things today that you might not even realize, right? So you see how he works this. He's going to be working a slide release. So he slides out, gives him this quick move, right? Now, here's the thing. That quick move can be taught 100% of the time. But the thing that's tough and the thing that a lot of people don't teach, because a lot of people just go out there like, oh, we're going to work a slide release today. And then they'll just slide and they'll just go. They don't understand the concept of range and how to beat this guy, right? So now, bring us back to that film that we were talking about earlier where we're reading this DB. We got a little bit of cushion, right? We got maybe about 2 yards, and I'm patient. I got a little bit of time to work, but range is what gets you open, right? Being out in this range where this DB's forced to make a decision. He could either lunge at you with hands or he could shuffle with you and watch your hips. So what will get you out to this range? A lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll just shuffle with this back foot, and they'll have this nice slow shuffle, no explosion. They don't have any power. Now, watch this first little step that this receiver takes here. He takes this little power step, right? That's not even a step. It's to shoot him out. And he's pushing off of this leg so he can actually get out to this range and come to balance. That step is for balance, but also it's for power. He comes to balance right here and he pushes out to this outside, like outside of this DB's frame. So he's in a patient position where this DB is going to shuffle with him because he's in this range. If this DB wants, it's real easy. Like everybody loves to say, oh, well, he should just get hands when he does this type of release, right? But that's stupid because if you lunge at him and get hands, we have a plan for that. All of this is a setup. That's what we're doing right here in this situation. So what gets you to this point, what you can learn from when you're watching other receivers is what are those little key details that they do to get them into that position to where they can create space. Because a lot of guys can do a slide release and do a 1, 2, 3 move, right? Anybody can do a triple step. That's a pretty common move that you could do, but can you get to that position where I set a trap for this DB and I hit him with that move, or maybe we come back one time and I got to run like a slant route and I hit him with just a 1-2 and I give that move to the outside, he jumps, and then I break back underneath. So it's all about, can you get to that position? And those key little details that put receivers in those specific spots, that's what you should be looking for on film when you're watching guys who are a little bit better than you, at a higher level than you, and you really want to learn from them, right? And especially if you have a guy like me who can break it down well, that's what we focus on, our channel. That's what we try to do. We try to break this film down so you guys understand those little details. So when you're watching either my videos or there's just a clip, or whether it's something that I post on Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, you look for those key specific details and you're like, oh man, I could add that to my game. Whether it's the same release or not, I could add those little things in my game. Whether how well receivers sell vertical, what they do at the top of the route, the little steps that they take at the top of the route, how are those feet angled? And then if you guys can look at that, break that down, that can help your game improve so much more. So great job using this little power false step right here to give him out. And it's not a false step. A coach who tells you it's a false step doesn't know what he's talking about. So that's what you guys got to be looking at. Another way they could do this is use that kick step behind. They could line up here and they could kick their left foot behind him this way and then use that to shoot him out. It's another way to come to balance. It's another way to get that power, explosion, and balance and get yourself into that range to where I can make this slide release and make that DB miss. Let's watch the thing again full speed. So he gets that kick out, 1, 2, 3, pushes up vertical. That's a great job here by this receiver. All right, so now next clip we're going to be taking a look at here is we're going to be looking at Dez Bryant running this post. And what I want to really focus on is like when we're going to be focusing on watching opponents' film, right? So what are you looking for, especially in DBs that on tape, what are we trying to find out when you're watching film? Because I can't tell you how many times when I would coach receivers at a high school, at like a school, it was actually the school that I went to high school to, but I coached receivers there for a little bit, just about a year before I got into the private coaching and, obviously did this, just a little backstory, but I can't tell you how many damn days where we would upload film and the receivers would not watch it. And it was like, because coaches can see that. Coaches can see how much time you spend on there. So I can't tell you how many times receivers wouldn't watch it. And then the quarterbacks would be watching a shitload of film. And then receivers would wonder why, we're not on the same page. Because you're not watching the same amount of film. Receivers got to study the game just as much as any other position, just as much as any other coach to understand the situations, because that's how you make it work. You don't just go out there and ad-lib. You got to prepare. You got to prep. So that's what we're going to be focused on right now. So we're going to talk about situations. So let's watch this route by Dez Bryant. So we got inside shade DB, and he's running an inside breaking route. He's running a post route. So let's watch it full speed. So what does he do right here? He comes out full speed ahead, attacks that outside shoulder, gets the DB to turn his hips, and then breaks back underneath on a post. So this is a situation that you come across. You should have a notebook almost every time you're watching film, especially of an opponent, especially of other things that you're trying to see. And you're trying to say, all right, what are the things that I'm going to see in this game guaranteed, okay? So if they don't like to press, but in man coverage, like let's say they go cover 0, cover 1, you're going to be seeing a lot of this inside shade, and you got to run, okay, let's say in the playbook, I run a lot of posts, I'm from the outside. I got to have a plan for this, right? And say I got to run a lot of out routes, and I'm from the outside. Maybe they cut your split down. It's trips left. They cut your split down. All right, I know I'm going to attack his leverage, give him a move, and I have all this space for myself. But now let's talk about this. Dez Bryant's got to run a post inside leverage. How do we do this? We're not just going to be, if we square him up and we attack his midline, what if he just keeps his leverage? What if he weaves to the inside? Then I'm screwed. I'm going to run right into him. So I want to attack this outside shoulder, try to make him think fade, try to make him think like I'm running a corner, an out route, a fade route, and get his hips to turn. Then I, bam, pop this thing off and run right underneath. So that's exactly what he does, right? You see how he attacks. He attacks this outside shoulder, and immediately, even off the snap, that DB starts to keep his leverage. But if I attack that shoulder and I make it believable enough, and I actually sell vertical with my pad level, and I'm running fast, and then I have this sudden break, fade, that's what makes him turn his hips. Everybody's like, oh, DB shouldn't have turned his hips. But if you make him turn his hips and you actually have that speed, have that pad level, everything about your route makes him think fade, that's what's going to get you some separation, right? That's what a lot of people don't understand. They run their route half-assed and they wonder why the DB didn't turn their hips. It's like, dude, you got to go full speed. You got to attack that outside shoulder. You got to make him move rather than hope that he moves, right? You got to prepare for a good DB, not a crappy DB who's not going to move who's going to move his hips no matter what. What is going to make a good DB move his hips? And this is what you need to be looking at. What are those situations that you come across? What if he's here and you got to run a post, but he's off, man, head up on you? All right, fine. I'm going to square him up. I'm going to attack that midline, then bam, I'm going to break it off. What if he's outside shade? I'm just going to go because chances are that's probably zone coverage, right? What if he's head up and he's pressing you? Then I got to come up with a release. So you guys got to understand the different situations that you're going to see. You should have a chart. You should have a notebook. Okay, how many times did I see? And Huddle already, if you guys are on Huddle already has the type of coverage built in if your coaches mark up the film properly. So you don't even have to do a lot of work. You just got to know, all right, I'm the X receiver. I'm going to be going up against this guy probably 85% of the time. So how many times do I see off man, press man, inside shade, off man, inside shade, zone coverage? And you should tally it off. And that's how you create that plan going forward for that week of football. Okay, so let's watch this thing again, full speed. Great job by Des Bryant attacking the outside shoulder, popping this thing off, then accelerating back over the middle. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope this video gave you guys some value and just kind of helped you out with just how you guys should be watching film, how you guys should approach film, just some of the things you could do to help your game. And also, fellas, if you guys want a full month-long wide receiver training program, 4 weeks of specific workouts on the field, in the gym to make you a better receiver, faster, bigger, stronger, more power, more explosion, check out that very first link in the description. Hope we get you guys on that soon, and I'll see you guys next time.